a civilization from beyond time, buried in the depths of history, the Sumerians. This civilization, known for its first writing systems, legal regulations, and structures of engineering marvels, has kept its secrets for centuries. Today, we will witness these mysteries together. The Great Zigurat of Ur. The term ziggurat, derived from the Akkadian word zaka, refers to the tower-shaped temple architecture specific to Mesopotamia. The most magnificent example of this architectural form is the Great Zigurat of Ur. Located in the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, this magnificent ziggurat is located in southern Iraq today. This massive temple was built in the 3rd millennium BC and is an impressive 64 meters long and 46 meters wide. Due to the conditions of the time, its height remains a mystery. The temple, which used a mud brick core in its construction, was also covered with burnt bricks from the outside, which increased the resistance of the sacred structure to natural effects. Historical facts tell us that the construction of the Great Ziggurat was started by King Ur-Nammu of the 3rd dynasty of Ur, and completed under the supervision of his son, King Shulgi. The ziggurat contained the heart of Ur, standing within the temple complex. The ziggurat is believed to be a local place of worship, dedicated to the moon god Nana. Due to Nana's connection to the eastern mountains, the ziggurat eventually came to represent the celestial home where Nana preferred to live. There was a modest temple awaiting him at the top of the pyramid. There was a room with a girl chosen as God's friend. The kitchen on the northwest stairs met the divine food needs, while the outer courtyard served mortal servants, warehouses, priest residences, and a ceremonial palace. Despite research, the exact purpose and significance of the ziggurat remain a mystery. According to some, it was a temple where high priests performed religious ceremonies and offered offerings to the gods. A second view sees the ziggurat as a symbol of the cosmic mountain. According to this perspective, the ziggurat represented the connection between heaven and earth for God to interact with humanity. This theory, which suggests that the temple at the top of the ziggurat may have been dedicated to the god Nana, supports this. Despite these possibilities, however, the true purpose of the ziggurat is unknown. The King List. These cuneiform clay tablets, known as the Sumerian King List, dating from the first half of the 21st century BC to the 18th century BC, have survived to this day. This list is an ideologically written yearbook and contains historical records. It includes the names of dynasties and kings dating back to periods before the Old Babylonian period. In addition to names, it also contains information about the duration of their rule, official royal centers, and nearby dynasties. However, this list surprises historians in some respects. The first piece of this historical puzzle, a 4,000-year-old cuneiform tablet, was discovered in ancient Nippur by the talented Hermann Hilprecht. Since the first discovery, 18 more copies of the King List have been found. Most of these date from the second half of the Eastern Dynasty. The Ashmolean Museum houses the Weld Blundell tablet, the most valuable piece of the collection. Its content ranges from antediluvian dynasties to the 14th ruler of the Isin dynasty. This tablet is not just a relic, but a gateway to Sumerian history. At the beginning of the King List is a divine storytelling that the kingdom descended from heaven to Eridug. This presents the idea of a world where rulers such as Alulim and Alalja ruled for 28,836 and 36,000 years, respectively, in mythological times. Perhaps the list was created to legitimize the power of a particular dynasty. The information on the list still remains a mystery. Sumerian women and the Queen. The status of women in ancient Sumerian civilization has long preoccupied researchers. Given that Sumerian women had different privileges and statuses depending on social class and period, there is evidence to suggest that women in general were more influential and prominent in Sumerian society than men. The Sumerian legal system granted women more rights and freedoms than other ancient civilizations. Women could own property, engage in trade, and in some cases have the right to divorce. Although subject to the authority of their fathers or husbands, legal rules reflect the value Sumerian society placed on women's rights and well-being. This is an important focal point for exploring the roots of gender equality. In ancient Sumerian religion, the importance of women is clearly emphasized. For example, Enheduanna, a high priestess and poet who lived in the city of Ur around 2300 BC, is the daughter of Sargon, king of Akkad, and is considered one of the oldest known authors in the world. Her hymns and prayers to the goddess Inanna are still studied for their literary and historical significance. The title of high priestess indicates that women could hold positions of authority and influence in Sumerian society. However, due to the lack of first-hand data, we have very little information about the daily lives and experiences of women, especially those from lower social levels. While findings indicate that women had more rights and freedoms than other ancient civilizations, some aspects of their lives remain unknown. With new discoveries, scientists continue to deepen their understanding of this subject and try to better understand the role of women in Sumerian culture. It also shows that Kubaba, a powerful woman among the male rulers on the king list, is a unique figure. There is information indicating that Kubaba's reign began in the city-state of Kish around 2500 BC. Queen Kubaba's name stands out among the names of the rulers. Her story is about perseverance and strength rather than an innate right. The Lost City of Arata. The fascinating story of the lost city of Arata has captivated historians and archaeologists for years. This mysterious metropolis is thought to have developed as a large and wealthy civilization in early human history. Despite decades of debate, the true location of Arata remains a mystery waiting to be solved. Arata is mentioned in ancient Sumerian inscriptions, including the Epic of Enmerkar and the Tales of Lugal Banda, dating back to the 3rd millennium BC. These sources, in which Arata is described as a distant, wealthy city, describe a complex network of relationships between it and Uruk, the capital of Sumer. The Iranian plateau is shown as the probable location of Arata, and there are linguistic and cultural similarities between the Sumerians and the ancient Elamites of present-day Iran. The Caucasus, the Armenian Plateau, and even the Indus Valley have been named as potential locations, but have not provided definitive evidence to shed light on the mystery of Arata. Some researchers have suggested that Arata is actually a myth, that the Sumerians made up this story to show their own society in a mythological light. Sumerian inscriptions depict Arata as a metropolis adorned with rare metals, precious stones, and intricate handicrafts valued by distant civilizations. King Gilgamesh and the Epic of Anunnaki. The Epic of Gilgamesh is a poem with approximately 3,000 lines. It tells the story of a Sumerian king who embarks on a dangerous mission. His journey takes him to terrifying monsters and the astonishing secret of immortality. The hero is depicted in these verses as a demigod, similar to Hercules. But what makes this epic mysterious is that the legendary character is not just a concept. Scientists believe that he is based on a real-life monarch who ruled in the ancient city of Uruk. The Epic of Gilgamesh, more than just a story, seems to be a treasure trove of historical information. Experts believe that this hero may be the 5th ruler of Uruk, but no one has been able to solve this mystery so far. Gilgamesh's name appears on the Sumerian king list, and there are inscriptions commemorating his achievements, such as the construction of Uruk's high defensive walls and the restoration of a temple dedicated to the goddess Ninhil. These discoveries show that Gilgamesh was a real monarch, beyond fiction. The Anunnaki are also well represented in the Epic of Gilgamesh. The story combines encounters between Gilgamesh and Anunnaki gods, such as Enkidu, Ishtar, and Utu, highlighting the close ties these divine characters had with the Sumerian people. The Anunnaki are a group of gods in Sumerian, Akkadian, Babylonian, and Assyrian mythology, and have inspired many theories. The term Anunnaki derives from the Sumerian word Anunna, meaning those of royal blood, or those of princely descent. These celestial beings are thought to be descended from Anu, the supreme Sumerian pantheon god, and Ki, the earth goddess. Many explanations have been proposed to explain the identity and purpose of the Anunnaki. Some theories state that aliens influenced Sumerian culture and technology, while others believe that they were semi-divine kings who guided the development of Sumerian civilization. Another view sees them as symbolic representations of natural and cosmic forces. Despite research, doubts about the Anunnaki persist. The skills of the ancient Sumerians. The Sumerians' mathematical and linguistic skills were truly impressive and of great historical significance. The base 60 number system they used was applied in other mathematical operations, as well as being used in both time measurement and geometric calculations. This system formed the basis of the measures used as minute and second divisions even today. In addition, numbers that are multiples of 60 were widely used in angle measurement and time zones. The origin and evolution of the Sumerian language remains a mystery. The uniqueness and isolation of the language creates difficulties in explaining its origin and relationship to other languages. Although some theories suggest that Sumerian is related to Indian languages such as the Dravidian languages, this theory has not been proven. It is also a mystery how Sumerian evolved so rapidly into a complex cuneiform writing system. The Sumerians' mastery of irrigation and agricultural practices provided food for a large population in fertile lands. The construction of canals and dams, the complexity and success of irrigation systems demonstrate the Sumerians' engineering and organizational skills. This reflects the knowledge and skills beyond the agricultural and irrigation technologies of the time and amazes historians. With these diverse achievements, the Sumerians played an important role in the ancient world and made significant contributions in fields such as science, mathematics, language, engineering, and agriculture. And how they were able to do all this at that time remains a mystery. Sculpture and relief art in Sumer. Sculptures and reliefs are among the most impressive works of Sumerian art. These works are usually made of materials such as limestone, diorite, and marble. The themes of Sumerian sculptures and reliefs include gods, kings, statesmen, and prominent people of the city. Especially in Sumerian sculptures, it is seen that kings take more place than gods. In these sculptures, depictions of kings, gods, religious ceremonies, wars, hunting scenes, political events of the period, and sacred beings were frequently used to adorn temple walls. These examples can also be seen on the walls of temples and palaces, on vases, on seals, and on votive plaques. In reliefs, the head, chest, and legs are usually depicted in profile, while the eyes, shoulders, and hands are depicted from the front. The artists paid special attention to hair and clothing. Important figures are depicted in larger sizes than others. One of the distinctive features of the reliefs is the large-eyed figures surrounded by oval lines. The body forms of the sculptures are generally disproportionate, and the artists have worked the places that are important to them with a greater emphasis. The statue of King Lugaldalu, the statue of King Gudea, and the big-eyed Sumerian statue, all in the Istanbul Archaeological Museum, are among the works that best reflect these features. The statues you see in the photo are also among the most impressive works of the Sumerians restored with today's technology. It is clear that the statues were endowed with a skill far beyond the time of the craftsmen who created them. Unlike others, which are quite controversial, this statue, designed with closed eyelids and distinctive facial features, is perhaps a representation of the Anunnaki. On the other hand, there is another statue that attracts attention with its exaggerated and impressive facial features. This statue shows how the Sumerians put their mythological stories and beliefs into stone. Techniques and methods used in the construction of the statues show that the Sumerians had a workmanship and aesthetic understanding far beyond their time, but who they depict is still a mystery. The disappearance of the Sumerians. For centuries, historians and archaeologists have tried to solve the mystery surrounding the disappearance of Sumerian civilization. No one knows for sure how this great civilization came to an end, but there are many theories that suggest the possible end of Sumerian civilization. The Sumerians, who achieved great success in agriculture, construction, writing, and mathematics, slowly began to collapse towards the end of the 3rd millennium BC and withdrew from the stage of history. Some suggest that the rising powers in the region during the late 3rd and early 2nd millennia BC were the main cause of their end. Under the leadership of Sargon, the leader of Akkad, the Akkadian Empire conquered the Sumerian city-states and expanded their dominance, managing to establish the first recognized empire in history, according to sources. Therefore, historians think that there may be a political change. The once magnificent Sumerian political influence and autonomy may have diminished. Other powers in the region, such as the Third Dynasty of Ur and the Old Babylonian Empire, may have further weakened its sovereignty. Another important factor that brought about the end of Sumerian civilization was the constant change of cuneiform. As the Sumerian city-states lost their political power, their original language and writing also fell into disuse. Sumerian was replaced by Akkadian, which later evolved into Assyrian and Babylonian dialects. This language change, along with the disappearing cuneiform script, contributed to the acceleration of the end of Sumerian culture and identity. The Sumerians were also affected by internal conflict and social unrest. The city-states fought many wars as they competed for resources and authority. These wars and disputes increased the political and economic instability that hastened the end of civilization. Although the end of Sumerian civilization seems to be due to problems including the rise of rival powers, the weakening of cuneiform, environmental degradation, and internal conflicts, many details are still unknown, but historians are continuing their work to understand what really happened. Share your thoughts with us in the comments section below, and if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. See you later.